Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also, share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link to you down below. Has the links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there. Follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I'll talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about Joe Douglas. For those of you that do not know, this is breaking news. This is just happening. Joe Douglas has been fired. Yes, the New York Jets have fired Joe Douglas. He is no longer the general manager of the New York Jets. It's done. It's over, baby. Man, this season just continues to just go off the rails. It continues to go off the rails. So comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, all right? And give the video a thumbs up. Listen, after like 5 years and some change going into this season, Joe Douglas's record as the general manager of the New York Jets is 30-64. Whew. It's clear that the Johnsons are ready to move on. They fired Robert Saleh in season as well earlier this season. So here they are, moving on from the general manager as well. And so now we're going into an off season where we got to figure out and get the right guys in here because there's going to be some big changes coming forward, in my mind at least. Do I think that Joe Douglas deserved to get fired? You can make an argument that he did, but I thought that Joe Douglas did a decent job as a general manager. Did he fail in some spots? Yeah, but there were some spots of success too. And I'm going to talk about the failures right now. Some big mistakes that Joe Douglas made, okay, are the mistakes that set your franchise up for success or real failure. And it starts with your head coach. All right, look, Robert Saleh, hot name in the coaching candidate. We were all excited, but he made a mistake hiring him because Robert Saleh got fired in season by the Johnsons. That has never happened in my tenure as a New York Jets fan. And under Robert Saleh, the defense, for the most part of his tenure here, outside of this season, the defense was screaming. It always looked pretty solid, but the team was very undisciplined, Lots of penalties, often unprepared. They would come out flat. The offense struggled under him as well. So, and then with the defense falling apart this season, it was like, look at what we have here. And so the Johnsons pulled the plug and moved on from him, right? The other failure that Joe Douglas had, again, will set your franchise up for big success or set your franchise up for big failures, is figuring out the quarterback position. That Zach Wilson pick, that was the big slash mark on Joe Douglas. It's like, hey, you got this guy in the building. You took him high in the draft. You moved on from Sam Darnold when you could have traded that pick for a haul and built around Sam and figured out what that guy could have flourished into or developed into with the actual team behind him. Mind you, Sam Darnold is with the Vikings right now, and he's looking like he's going to be their guy, for the foreseeable future going forward. And that team is doing things in this league behind him. And Zach Wilson, on the other hand, just never turned out to be anything, filled it out, and pretty much, broke under the pressure of being here with the New York Jets. I mean, everything from his confidence being shot to him not being able to make simple throws. It was a lot of issues. There was questions about his development. Well, if you're the general manager of the New York Jets, that's a hit on you as well. Even, Aaron Rodgers, this situation just hasn't worked out. But there's something else that, as well, that you can kind of look at as being a hit too, is his inability to get this offensive line up to snuff quicker. The offensive line under Joe Douglas, struggled, right? Up until this season. And even this season, we're seeing Aaron Rodgers take big hits. The signing of Tyron Smith, not looking so good, right? There's issues. You got Olu now, you put him at left tackle, but, at this point, the season's done, But everything before this, you look at last season, my goodness. The reason Aaron Rodgers, was injured and had that Achilles issue was because the offensive line couldn't block for the guy. He was taking shot after shot after shot. The season was effectively done, literally during the game of week 1, a couple plays into the season, and our season was over. And then what else was exposed last year as well was Joe Douglas's inability to have foresight and have a solid backup option at quarterback. that fell apart as well, and that took the team into a complete nosedive. On top of the fact that the offensive line struggled mightily last season and was bad. He had some draft successes here, of course. Sauce Garner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Brees Hall. Him grabbing those guys all in one draft is insane. That was insane, man. He even, got some other guys as well. Look, Bryce Huff was a great pickup, right? Quincy Williams, phenomenal pickup. Look what we've done with him. Here was a guy that was brought in, late, and people were like, oh, yeah, he took a fly on a linebacker, and Quincy Williams has turned into one heck of a linebacker here with the New York Jets. But, we got these cornerstone guys here, but there's a lot of issues because when you look at that 2020 draft class, though, that's a rough class. It's a rough class, but you can't hit them all, right? You can't hit them all, and that's what I tell the people. There's a lot of great general managers that have made mistakes in their drafts, but I'll tell you what, that Sauce, Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Brees Hall draft, that set the New York Jets up for real success in bringing them cornerstone players. Now, when we talk about the reset here, because that's where I think the New York Jets are going, it's big questions going forward. Big questions. And the big question is Aaron Rodgers. What happens with him? I don't know if he's going to end up staying here. And I don't think he will because the Jets, again, are looking like they're going into a full-blown rebuild. And if they are, I can't see Aaron Rodgers wanting to end his career or wanting to play another year under a team that's going into that situation. And two of the biggest reasons that Aaron Rodgers came here was one, that at the time he looked at the Jets roster and said, oh yeah, this is a roster that I can win with. They're just missing the quarterback and I'm that guy, right? And two, he said the staff, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, he felt like the Jets had a solid nucleus, a solid foundation, and we could move forward, right? They've got a good foundation, and that's gone. That's gone, baby. Both of those guys are gone now. So questions about Aaron Rodgers, especially when you're looking to hire another general manager and a head coach. Could Aaron Rodgers being here, if they decide to keep him or if he decides to stay, could that be a hindrance to bringing in a general manager and a new head coach? Will they want to be told who their quarterback is going to be? I don't know about that. Devontae Adams as well, you got to look at him. We just got this guy. Does he want to stay here? He's coming from the Raiders where he left them because he didn't think that they were really going to compete. I don't think he's going to want to stay here if he feels like or looks at us and says, hey, we're going to a full-blown rebuild. And keep in mind, there's no answer after Aaron Rodgers as well. So if he walks, baby, don't try to sell me on Jordan Travis because we ain't seen nothing from that guy. There is nothing after Aaron Rodgers. There's nothing. Nothing here at quarterback for the Jets. All right? You look at Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Garner, Jermaine Johnson. Those guys can end up walking too because they've been through this rebuild process here. They know what that's like. Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Garner were publicly campaigning for Aaron Rodgers to come into the building because they were so tired of not having a quarterback and not getting to where they wanted to go, and they were tired of the rebuilding process. It was time to win in their minds. So now that that's done, I don't think either of those guys will want to come back either and deal with another rebuilding process here with the Jets, especially when you look at some of the things that we've heard and seen from Garrett Wilson. Last season, man, if you could have opened the door for Garrett Wilson at the end of the season, I think he would have walked away from the New York Jets as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Now, my final point here, and I want to get y'all thoughts about this. I'm wondering if the Jets ownership can make this job attractive, okay? There's a lot of pressure here in New York to win. There's a lot of pressure. Not only that, but you're also going to deal with the media when you come in here, which eats people alive. Some of the most beloved coaches we've had here have had the media turn on them, and it has turned into a circus here. Rex Ryan, the media ran him up out of here, and he was one of the most beloved head coaches ever in the New York Jets franchise history. And also, can they deal with the pressure of the fan base? This fan base is unlike any other, okay? They want to win, and they want to win now, and they are tired of it. And I understand. I'm a Jets fan myself. Like, I get it, you know. But this fan base will be all over you. And so there's a lot of pressure to come here. The Jets historically have not been an attractive place for GM and head coaching candidates, especially the top ones. A lot of people don't remember that. There was a point in time here where you had Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase sitting in those seats. And we saw what the issues and dysfunction caused by them did to this football team. I mean, Joe Douglas inherited a roster that was very much stripped of talent. It was insane. So big questions going forward with the New York Jets. I don't even know what to say at this point. This season is all over the place. Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. What are your thoughts about Joe Douglas being fired by the New York Jets? Is there a general manager that you would like to see the Jets hire? What are your thoughts about the Jets, roster situation going forward? Do you think Aaron Rodgers stays here? Do you think Devontae Adams stays here? Do you think we'll be able to keep any of the young guys, Brees, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner? Do you think any of those guys will end up staying, knowing that there's, a full-blown rebuild coming very, very soon? Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.